Tuesday and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Are you doing anything for your birthday today?
I'm just like go lunch with my friends.
You went to lunch with your friends?
Yeah.
Nice. Are you doing anything tonight with your family?
Maybe I'll eat a cake with my mom.
Oh, a cake. What kind of cake?
A chocolate cake.
Oh, I love birthday cake. That's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very excited. So today we are going to be, and Natalia's not here, so I have something I wanted you guys to work on, and you could kind of look at it together and help each other out. But I'm here, so I'll be here to help you as we work through this instead. But yeah, if you have any questions, of course, let me know. But today, I know you've kind of been exposed to this already in class, but we are going to be looking at the 3 branches of government.
Okay.
Right? So you're a little familiar.
A little bit know that.
Yeah? Okay. All right, great. So let's get started. I have a little video I want to play for you. So it's actually a song.
Oh.
It's a rap song. I don't know if you like rap music, but it's a lot of fun. It's very short. It's just a minute, and it's going to introduce us to the 3 branches of government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the legislative branch.
Yeah, it's the courts. It's the executive branch.
I'm the one that passed the laws. So if you want to make something happen, you gotta go through me. Who's calling the shots in the Oval Office? Vocabulary. Let's go. It goes check, check, 2 state ballots, not just one. We bring 3 talents, the powers. Gotta keep them separated. That's the motto. We made it. 3 branches of government, that's all. Legislative writes the laws. Executive executes laws so official. The court system is judicial. I'm the legislative branch. I write laws. Without me, it'll be anarchy, of course. Say my name. I'm called Congress, sitting on Capitol Hill. Kid, that's honest. Made up of the Senate and the House of Reps. We write a bill and send it to the president's desk. We legislate.
So that's really it. It's just a little bit of an introduction to the 3 branches of government. So there's a few things that came up there that I wanted to see if you caught them. Obviously, we have the 3 branches. You know what those 3 are?
Yeah.
We have the legislative, the judicial, and executive, right? Those are the big 3. So I thought this was a fun little video. Did you notice anything in this video that you haven't heard of before?
Like legislative branch for writing laws.
For writing laws, so you didn't know about that? Okay, yeah, so good. So that's a big part of what the legislative branch does. And then I also wanted to mention this part, the separation of power.
Mm-hmm.
So in the United States, we have 3 branches of government to separate power. So it's not one branch or one person has all of the power in the whole country, right? So the 3 branches of government, that's different than, you obviously come from China, and it's not like that there, right? There's not 3 branches of government. No. What's it like?
It's just like one president.
One president.
I don't know if it's a president, but it's just one.
One person, one leader.
Mm-hmm.
And they make all the laws and all the rules.
There's still like 7 people around him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's one leader and there's 7 people around that leader who help make all the decisions.
I think so.
Okay, all right, interesting. So yeah, that's a little different than what we have here.
Mm.
Here we have these 3 branches of government. So yes, we do have a president, we have a leader, but he doesn't work alone to run the country. We have these 3 branches. Like I said, that's how we balance the power. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so we just went over these: legislative, executive, and judicial. So you've heard of these before.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's start with our executive branch. So our executive branch is, we always think of the president, right? That's the executive of our country. The president falls under that executive branch umbrella. So does our vice president and the cabinet. So this might be a new word for you, the cabinet. That is kind of similar to how you mentioned in China, there's a leader and he has a group of people around him that help make decisions. The president also gets to have a cabinet of people who help him make decisions and execute the law, which is what the executive branch does. So it makes sure that the laws are followed. And where does this happen? Do you recognize this building?
Mm.
This is
White House.
the White House. Yeah, excellent. That's where the president lives. And that's a little picture of our current president,
Mm.
but that is what falls under the executive branch. So our president, and he's not writing the laws, but our president is going to make sure that the laws are being followed in all of the states and in all of the country. So then we have our legislative branch. The legislative branch, you always want to think of, it's made up of what?
Like
The United
House of
States
Representatives.
Congress. Right, yeah, exactly. The House of Representatives is part of it, but that's a part of a larger group called Congress. So Congress is our legislative branch. So they are made up of, like you said, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Have you heard of the Senate before?
yeah.
Or the House of Representatives? Yeah, exactly. So those are the two groups that make up Congress. So our House of Representatives depends, every state gets a certain number of individuals in the House of Representatives, which depends on the population of that state. So that's why they're called representatives, right? Because they represent the state that they come from. And the Senate, it's a little different. There's only two for each state. Each state gets 2 senators, no matter the size or the population.
Mm.
And the most important thing to remember about the legislative branch is that they do what? They make the laws. Yeah, great, exactly. So they're going to be where laws are written and created and thought of. And then, of course, ultimately that goes up to the executive branch as well. And the president can say yes or no. But this is where the laws are made. And then, do you recognize this building here?
U.S. Capitol building.
Yeah, that's our U.S. Capitol building. This is also in Washington, D.C. Did you go to Washington, D.C.?
Never.
No. Do you go next year for the field trip? I think there's a field trip maybe in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, hopefully you get the chance to go on that. It's an awesome trip and you'll get to see all of these buildings and monuments in real life. It's a great experience.
Mm.
But yeah, that's our U.S. Capitol building. That's where our Congress works and makes the laws. And then the third branch is our judicial branch. So the judicial branch includes the Supreme Court and other federal courts, but you always think of the Supreme Court when we think of the judicial branch. Are you familiar with the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you tell me anything about it?
Like they have 9 people.
Yeah, 9 judges. And do you know why they have 9 and not 8?
I don't know.
Or 9 instead of 10? So there's 9 because it's an odd number. So there's never going to be a 50-50.
Oh, I see.
So 4 judges say yes and 4 judges say no, then what do? When there's 9, there's always going to be a decision made. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in our Supreme Court, it's made up of 9 Supreme Court judges, or justices we call them. Excellent, that's great that you knew that. And the Supreme Court and the judicial branch, they decide if the laws are constitutional, right? If they follow the Constitution. And you remember that big long document, the Constitution? Yeah, I know you remember that. So the judicial branch will tell us if our laws are following the Constitution. Another way we could say that is that they explain or they interpret the laws. So if a law is being broken and you have to go to court, the Supreme Court judges are going to be the ones who determine, is the law being broken or is it not? Right? That's what happens in court. And that's ultimately the Supreme Court. It's the highest court in the United States of America. So there's a lot of local courts. Even here in town, there's court. Everywhere has courts. But this is different because this is the highest level court in the United States, is our Supreme Court. And that's the judicial branch. They are our judges, and that's how we interpret the laws. What do these laws mean, right? That's the judicial branch. Okay, so I want us to look at some of these terms here, and if you could tell me which branch it falls under, that would be great, and I can obviously help you as well. And then we're going to move on to a little chart that I need. All right, so let's start over here. Who makes the laws? Which branch do we make the laws? Legislative. Yeah, excellent. That's amazing. All right, what about the president? Where's the president in all of this? Executive. Amazing. Yes, that's right. How about interprets the laws? Or I also said maybe explains the laws.
Judicial.
Yeah, judicial. Those judges. What about Congress? Where is our Congress? Which branch? Which branch of government does Congress fall under? Our 3 branches. That's what's at the top, the 3 branches. Congress. It's made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Which branch are they?
Legislative.
Legislative. Yeah, excellent. Good job. How about our Supreme Court?
Judicial.
Oh, yeah. And I think we just have one more. Carries out the laws. Who enforces the laws?
Executive.
Executive. Excellent. Wow, Sophia, you did so good. So you are really a pro at this. That are 3 branches of government. Okay. So I'm going to leave this up here just so we can kind of like have these terms floating and circulating. And then I'm going to give you this. And then I have one for Natalia, so she will get the chance to do it next time. All right, so I did print out the slides for you. I think it will be good for you to have these, and you can refer to them if you need it. And I know we spoke before about you having the translator available. That is definitely more than okay. I think it's great for you to have that if it'll help you to fill this out. So here, we just have a little bit of a graphic organizer. You have your executive branch, legislative branch, and judicial branch. And then we have these photos of where everything happens, right? We have the White House for our executive branch, the U.S. Capitol building for our legislative branch, and the Supreme Court for our judicial branch. So basically what I want you to do here is to just kind of jot down 2 to 3 things. There's space for 3, but even if you only can think of 2, jot down 2 to 3 things for each branch of government that you can think of using the slides or whatever prior knowledge you have. I just want to see what you can come up with. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know. And then once this is filled out, we can take a look at it. Or if you need some more time, it's no problem. But yeah, I want to see what you can kind of get on the paper with that, okay? And take a look. And do you need a pencil? You have a pencil? Okay, perfect. And you can take your time. There's absolutely no rush. How's it going, Sophia?
I just need a little bit more time.
Yeah, take your time. Do you have any questions? So far, so good. What did you think of my video?
the
rap
I
song.
love it.
We're gonna have to find more of those. Oh, you're all done? Okay, great. Why don't we take a look at this? So I'm gonna move these off to the side. All right. So, why don't you tell me what you came up with for executive branch?
Like the place that president work
Yeah, that's true.
and then carry out the law or break down the laws.
Yes, excellent. That's very true. Okay, we have 3 for legislative branch. What do we have?
It can decide to make laws and it have the Congress
Yes?
and it have 2 House of Representatives.
Yes, so it has the Congress, that's right.
Mm.
And our Congress is made up of House of Representatives and what else?
Like the Senate.
Yes, excellent. It's called the Senate. So we can say instead of having 2 House of Representatives, we would say has House of Representatives and Senate. So you want to add and Senate. Senate. So that's here. Let's pull it up here. Where are we? Legislative branch. Senate. So it's S-E-N. Yep. A-T-E. Senate. Good question. Okay, so perfect. That's perfect for the legislative branch. So you have a lot of good information there. Now our judicial branch.
It's by the Supreme Court
Yes.
and is explain the laws.
Yeah, interprets or explain the laws. Great answer. And what's here?
And Supreme Court have 9 people to make the decision.
Excellent. That's really good, Sophia. Yeah, there's 9 Supreme Court. What do we call them? We call them judges. Judges, yes, or justices. Yeah, it's right there at the bottom. Supreme Court judges. And yeah, that's a great word to get down on your notes. Judges, or you will hear them be called the Supreme Court justices. But yeah, those are our Supreme Court judges. Excellent. So you did a great job with this. So how do you feel? Do you feel like you understand the 3 branches a little bit better
Yeah.
now? And you feel like this helps?
Mm.
Good. Okay. So All right, I'm going to pick a branch randomly, and then I just want you to tell me what's the first thing you think of. One fact, okay. So if I say Sophia, tell me about the legislative branch.
Like it has the House of Representatives and Senate.
Yes, and what do they do? What's their job?
Like they for like the choosing like for the each states.
Yeah, they represent the states.
Yeah.
And what's their big job that they do when they go to the Capitol building?
Make laws.
Make laws. Excellent. Yeah, that's perfect. So you're a pro at the legislative branch. Good job. Yeah, so that's our 3 branches of government, right? And then you're gonna practice this, and we'll get into it a little bit more for your unit exam. One thing I did want to ask before the next time that we meet is I want you, and you can write this down in a bit, but one thing that I wanted to ask is that, and same for Natalia, is if you could pick one branch of government, does not have to be all 3, you'll pick one, executive, legislative, or judicial, and I want you to find online or wherever either like an article or a book or anything that mentions or talks about one of these branches of government. So it could be a current event, what's happening right now in the executive branch, right? What decision is the president making now? Or what's going on at the Supreme Court? Or even if it's a book and it's something that happened in the Supreme Court years ago, whatever you find. But you'll pick one branch, legislative or judicial or executive, and find anything that has to do with it, something that's an example of that branch. You pick the branch and you'll bring it. It's like I said, it could be a current event, it could be history, it could just be a fact, whatever you find. I just want you to pick one, read it, understand it, and then when we meet the next time, which I think is tomorrow, just bring it. That's it. Just bring it. Tell me what you found. We'll be able to explain together why this thing belongs to that branch of government, and then we'll do an activity with it tomorrow.
Okay.
Sound good? Okay. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you today on the executive branch. Did you have any questions for me? Any questions on any of that stuff that we just went over? I know it's a lot of information.
Just like the president live in the White House.
Yeah, the president, believe it or not, the president actually lives in the White House with his family. So all of our presidents have lived there in the same house. Yeah, since the first one. Do you remember who was the first United States president?
George Washington.
Yeah, George Washington. I don't know if he lived in the White House, but the idea is that all of the U.S. presidents live in the White House, which is cool, right? Yeah, it's a big White House, and like I said, it will be really cool if you get the chance to see it in person. Yeah. All right, well, you did a very good job with this. Like I said, I want you to hang on to this and use it, and then, as the unit progresses, if you learn more, you can add more. You still have it, and there's space, so you can add more to it. And like I said, tomorrow I'm excited to see what you come up with.
Okay.
And we'll take a look at it. And yeah, whatever, if you have any questions, you just let me know. And then if you have a hard time finding something, don't stress about it. We can look together tomorrow. Yeah. And are there any words in particular, like any vocabulary words on here that you're having trouble with that you need me to explain a little bit?
Just like sometimes I cannot just read out.
Let's see. Interprets, right? So interprets, and then I use this word explains.
Yeah.
Because maybe you understand that a little better. Explains. Yeah, interprets, you can kind of say it explains. Interprets is how do we understand something? So how does the Supreme Court understand this law? How are they viewing it? So they'll explain it, and interpret it is kind of, you could say another word for explain. Why is this the law, right? Why is this the law? Why is this wrong or right? Right? We understand the difference between wrong and right.
Yeah.
And the judicial branch kind of tells us why. Why is this wrong and why is this right? Or why is this the law? Make sense?
Yeah.
Good question, though. Thank you for asking that. Okay. All right. So what else are we working on today? We have a bunch of time left, so what do you need to work on?